Okay, so hey everybody, this is my review of my first all-grain original recipe homebrew, and it is an IPA. And if you saw some of my other videos, my YouTube page, you saw a little bit from the actual brew day, a little bit from when it was fermenting, and then transferring it to the secondary, and then when I was kegging it about a week and a half ago. So this is it. This is my IPA. Here is some of the particulars. Again, I brewed this about, today is the 7th of December. I brewed this about 4 weeks ago. Again, look back on my YouTube page for those small clips from the whole process. But I decided to start doing all grain, and it's a lot of fun. I've been doing extract up until now, and created this recipe on Beersmith, the app, just out of what I've researched and figured out on my own of what I like. So here's the particulars of this beer. As you can see, came out really nice, and I'll get to that in a second. But here's what I put into it. So I had 10.5 pounds of two-row US pale malt as the base malt, and then 3 pounds of Munich 20, and a half pound of crystal malt 40, giving you this nice color. The aroma, so the hop bill, so used 2 hops in this. I used Simcoe and Citra. Simcoe early on in the boil got all its bitterness, so half ounce of Simcoe at 60, 45, and 30. Can't put myself in there, we go. And then an ounce and a half of Citra. So Simcoe at 60, 45, and 30, ounce and a half of Citra, my favorite hop, at 15, and then Ward-off tablet at 15 as well, and then one more ounce of Citra at 5 minutes. Used White Labs, really like White Labs yeast, used White Labs California Ale 5, and then used a yeast starter for that as well. Had vigorous fermentation, really like 12 hours after I pitched it, which was good. Original gravity was supposed to be 107.2. It came out at 107.0, so that's not bad. Had a little bit of issue with the sparging. Did batch sparging. I've never done this before. I think I should have let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. I just sort of put it in there, stirred it a bit, let it settle, and just immediately ran it off, and wait till the grain was clear in the runoffs, and then started putting it in the boil kettle. So I think I might want to let my sparge sit a little bit longer next time. I don't know if that had anything to do with my lower starting gravity. Anybody out there that knows about batch sparging, I am open for suggestions as to what's the best method for that. I really only have the setup to do batch sparging. I don't have anything for fly sparging. Anyway, so 107.0 was the starting gravity. Fermented for about 2.5 weeks. A week after, transferred to the secondary and dry hopped with 4.5 ounces of Citra. And this thing is a wonderfully smelling hop bomb. You can just smell the Citra on this. IBUs on this was, what was the IBUs? 83.8. Final gravity didn't get to where I wanted it. In the recipe, it's supposed to come down to 10.19. It finished at 102.3, so I didn't get it all the way down, and I checked the gravity about 3 different times, 3 days. It wasn't changing, so fermentation was done. Again, so that got it in at about, let's see here, 6.2% was the final ABV. It was supposed to be about 7, so not bad. Really happy with this. So review of the beer. You can see the beer. It's got a nice sort of copper tone to it. Just poured this from my kegerator about 5 minutes ago. It's still nice. It's forced carbonated, so carbonation's from the kegerator. But the color I really was happy with. Came out super clear. There's a little bit of haze. I think it's from the amount of dry hops. I mean, I cold crashed this. I put a Ward-off tablet in, primary, secondary fermenter. So I did the best I could to get this thing as clear as possible. But there's still a bit of a haze in it, even though it's somewhat clear and you can sort of see through. There's sort of that hop haze, I think is what it's called. I'm not sure. Again, comment if you have any suggestions as to why it might be a little bit sort of cloudy. I think it's because of the amount of dry hops I put in this. Smell. Yeah, again, that Citra really comes through. Simcoe was in the pre-boil. I dry hopped this with all Citra. You get that sort of citrus, a little bit of dankness. Really, what I think an IPA, a West Coast IPA, is supposed to smell like. So here's the taste. Cheers. So the front of the tongue, oh, wow. The finish on this is really hits you in the mouth with that hops. Only about 84 IBUs, but the finish with the Citra really, it lingers. That hop sort of resinous lingers on it, but up front, very, very pleasant citrus, tropical notes. It's what an IPA should be. It's what I love. It's my favorite style of IPA. Honestly, I was a little bit skeptical of this being my first sort of original recipe. I did not take anything from anybody else. I just came up with this myself. And my first all-grain batch, had no idea what it would turn out like. Prayed that it would be good, and it is. Brewing beer is not that difficult. If you do a little bit of research and sort of stay with the recipe that you have, it came out great. I'm really happy with it. But again, so this is my all-grain original recipe. Got my Union glass there. Really happy with it. Next brew I'll be brewing with my new mash tun that I'm getting hopefully for Christmas, which will be end of this month in December, is going to be, I guess, a cocoa brown recipe. If you're familiar with, what is it, Kona Brewing? They have that cocoa brown. I found sort of a coconut porter, which is what I think the cocoa brown is. Sounds great, so I'm going to try it. My wife loves it. I think it's going to be great for the winter months, so I will be brewing that in a couple weeks, end of December, and I'll post some quick vids from that one take, vlogs from the brew day, and let you know how it goes. So everybody, cheers. Any comments, questions, please put them down below, and I'll see you on my next brew. Cheers. Oh, and Tom Hall, I'm going to hopefully get your dad a brew down to him in Florida. If he likes IPAs, I don't know if he does, hobby beers, I'll send him one of this. But if he likes sort of more mellow and tastier beers, I'll get him that coconut porter when it's ready in about 4 weeks or 5 weeks. See ya.